Welcome to The Explainer. Today we are diving deep into the dark, mysterious beginnings of what might be the greatest tragedy ever written, Shakespeare's Hamlet.
Let's just jump right in with this famous line. This is our entry point. Before we even meet Prince Hamlet, we get this chilling warning that just sets the stage perfectly for this incredible tale of suspense, grief, and of course, revenge. You can just feel the unease hanging over the whole kingdom.
All right, so our mystery kicks off on the freezing battlements of Elsinore Castle, and right away we know something unnatural has appeared.
Picture this. It's midnight. The clock strikes 12, and up on the castle walls, the night watch is just starting.
And it is bitter cold out there. But the guards are on edge, and for a really good reason. One of them even says the cold is nothing compared to the dread he's feeling. He's sick at heart. The air itself just feels wrong, It's thick with this tension you could cut with a knife.
So, what's got them so spooked? Well, for 2 nights straight, they've seen something totally unbelievable. A sight that a scholar, this guy named Horatio, just dismisses as, fantasy. So they've dragged him along to see for himself, to try and apply some logic to something that seems completely illogical. And then it happens. The apparition comes back, and it's this figure in full armor, looking exactly like the recently deceased King of Denmark. You can just imagine Horatio's skepticism completely shattering into pure fear and wonder.
So, okay, this is no ordinary spirit, right? This is an omen. And the fact that it's wearing battle armor? That suggests the political turmoil in Denmark is way deeper than anyone knows. This ghost is clearly a warrior with a purpose, but it won't speak, at least not to them. And Horatio, he figures there's only one person this spirit might actually be looking for.
All right, let's leave those cold, spooky battlements and head inside to the royal court. Now, you'd think the court would be in mourning, but nope. They're celebrating, and right in the middle of it all, we finally meet our detective, the grieving Prince Hamlet, who is just completely isolated in his sorrow.
So while everyone else is celebrating the, let's be honest, hasty marriage of Hamlet's mom, Gertrude, to his uncle, Claudius, Hamlet is just standing off to the side, a figure of pure, silent protest. And his very first line is this sharp, bitter little joke, a play on words that tells you exactly how he feels about his new father. And you can just see the sheer disgust in how Hamlet compares the two. In his mind, his father was like a god, Hyperion, and his uncle, the new king, he's a leering, beastly satyr. That contrast tells you everything. For Hamlet, his mother's marriage isn't just too soon, it is a profound, unbelievable betrayal. So Hamlet's grief is just poisoned. It's twisted up with this sense of total corruption. He sees the whole world as an unweeded garden, just overgrown and disgusting, and he feels completely, utterly alone in it, until his friend Horatio shows up with that unbelievable news about the ghost.
Okay, this is it. This is the moment where everything changes. Hamlet goes to confront the apparition, and the central mystery of the whole story is about to be laid bare.
The ghost finally speaks, and its message is absolutely terrifying. It tells Hamlet that yes, it is the spirit of his father, and that whole story about being killed by a snakebite, a total lie. It wasn't an accident, it was murder.
And we're not just talking about any murder here. This is regicide, the murder of a king. That's the ultimate crime. Back then, an attack on the king was like an attack on God's chosen order. So the killer hasn't just taken a life. He's thrown the entire country into chaos. And the scariest part? That killer is now the king.
Then comes the bombshell. The ghost reveals that it was Claudius, Hamlet's own uncle, who poured poison in his ear while he was sleeping in his orchard. He stole everything, his life, his crown, and his queen. And just like that, this horrific truth gives our detective his mission: revenge.
So now Hamlet is armed with this absolutely horrific truth. But what can he do? He's got to figure out a way to prove it. And the investigative tool he chooses, well, it's dangerous, and it's completely unpredictable.
Think about it. How do you expose a killer when he's the most powerful man in the country? He can't just go around making accusations. His only proof is the word of a ghost. And for all he knows, that ghost could be a demon trying to trick him. So what does he do? He decides to hide in plain sight.
And his plan is basically a 3-step masterclass in deception. First, he's going to pretend to be mad, put on what he calls an antic disposition, so everyone thinks he's harmless. This gives him the perfect cover to just watch everyone, see how they react. And most importantly, he has to test if the ghost was even telling the truth. He has to be absolutely sure of Claudius's guilt before he does anything.
Okay, so the investigation really kicks into high gear when a group of traveling actors just happens to show up at Elsinore. For Hamlet, this is the perfect, unexpected opportunity to set his trap.
Suddenly, Hamlet has this brilliant idea. He realizes he can use these actors to stage a crime scene, a public performance that mirrors the exact murder his father described. It's just a brilliant, incredibly theatrical solution to his problem.
So his plan is to write a few extra lines himself and have the actors insert them into their play. He's going to make the fictional murder an exact replica of the real one. And the whole time he's going to be watching Claudius's face, just waiting for any flicker of guilt, any tiny sign that the story's hitting a little too close to home. This is really where it all comes together. The play, which Hamlet so cleverly calls the mousetrap, isn't just a play anymore. It's evidence. It's the climax of his whole investigation, a trap that's been perfectly designed to do one thing: catch the conscience of the king and force him to reveal his guilt.
So the stage is set, the whole court is gathered, and a murderer is sitting on the throne, completely unaware that he's about to watch his own crime play out right in front of him. And that, of course, sets up the huge question for the rest of this tragedy. What on earth happens when the trap is finally sprung?